our final Tania of the day doesn't come from Turkey, but she grew up in the Netherlands, in Arnhem, which is the birthplace of Vincent van Gogh. So creativity is at the heart of this lady. She describes herself as a soprano, as a social entrepreneur, and as an innovation catalyst. She runs a number of companies, including Creative Universe, the Creative Innovation Global, and Creativity Australia. In fact, she's recognized as one of the most successful female entrepreneurs in Australia. Her passion is to create healthier, happier, and more inclusive communities. Exactly what Martin was talking about earlier. Actually, she has creativity in her genes. Her grandmother, who grew up in Vienna, was actually the person who invented the foldable umbrella. So you're in the presence of a true inventor genes. So, from Melbourne, Australia, please give a very warm welcome to Tania de Jong.
I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. Come on. What a glorious feeling. I'm happy again. Wonderful. You know, there was a time when we all used to sing. We sat around campfires at church and at school. We sang our stories and our dreams. We sang alone and we sang together. Nowadays, not many of us sing. We think we can't because at some stage someone has told us to be quiet. So I have a question. Who here has been told that they can't sing by their parents, their teachers, kids, anyone? Hands up. Who's been told? Right. It's about 85% of people have been told they can't sing. Well, when I was 14, I desperately wanted to have singing lessons, and my best girlfriend started having lessons. And one night I went round to her place, and we sang the song she'd been learning together a few times, and then she said, "You sing it on your own." She played the piano and I sang. And at the end of the song, she said to me, "Tanya, you should never bother having singing lessons. You're not good enough." And I believed her, just like all of us believed it when we were told we couldn't do certain things. So I did backstage in the school musical, and then finally in year 11 I auditioned for the chorus of the musical Oklahoma, and to my amazement I got the lead role. It was a defining moment for me because it taught me that I shouldn't let someone else snatch my dream away. Our voices have been silenced, and it's not doing us any good. There's often a taboo about speaking or singing in public. Yet, as tribes, we have always sung and danced together as equals. Our voice is the language of our hearts. It's how we express ourselves. So let's not sit in silence any longer. Ladies and gentlemen, come on, it's the end of the day. I need your help, please, all of you. Please stand up. We're just going to make one beautiful chord together. Thank you. Wonderful. So what we're going to do, and please remove all your self-limiting beliefs. So we're going to start off with the people in the balcony. Hello, everyone. Wave. Hi, everyone. Good. We're going to start off with this note. We're going to breathe in and we're going to go, oh, everyone in the balcony. Oh. Fantastic. Then the back section of the room. Wave your hands. The back section of the room. Okay, and we're going to go, oh, breathing in and, oh. Fantastic. And then the front. And we're all going to go, oh, breathing in and, oh. Okay, we're going to put that together now. The top is going to start, then the middle's going to come in, then the front is going to join. We're going to keep singing. Now, if you run out of air, you have to breathe. But stay on your note, okay? So you can improvise too. Once we're going for a while, I'm going to go louder, softer. I'll give you a little conducting, and we will become the European Business Forum choir. Okay, here we go. We're starting in the back. Okay. Oh. Hang on, everyone up there, I need you all. Okay, breathing in and oh. Bringing in the back. Oh. Oh. can improvise now. Okay, perfect. Thank you. You can sit down now. You see, your brain is buzzing now, right? A little bit, because singing is a super wonder drug. In my TED Talk, I talk about the incredible neuroscience of singing. When we sing with other people, we become smarter, healthier, happier, and more creative. We increase the neuroplasticity of our brain, which improves our memory, language, and concentration. And we connect to the right side of our brain, which is responsible for our intuition, imagination, and creativity. The right side of our brain connects us to one another and all that is. It is our human battery charger. The left side of our brain is logical, analytical, and rational. It separates us. And it's estimated that we spend 85% of our time in the left side of our brain, being overwhelmed by too many facts and figures. We're literally draining our human batteries. We talk more to boxes and screens than we do to one another. So it's not surprising that loneliness, depression, and social isolation are considered the global epidemic of our times. And all that talking to boxes and screens means that now we're being automated. And as the robots are coming, it becomes fundamentally important to nurture the attributes of human beings that separate us from machines. Love, compassion, creativity, empathy, courage, determination. As Tom Attlee said recently, things are getting better and better, worse and worse, faster and faster, simultaneously. Capitalism and democracy are under stress. We no longer trust our institutions, and they can't keep up with the pace of change. So we urgently need to raise our consciousness and develop a collective intelligence to solve increasing economic and social problems. We need to master 6 right brain senses. Those are design, story, symphony, empathy, play, and meaning. And we need to reinvent our institutions to become more right-brained, connected, and flexible. So, most of our societies, institutions, and corporations have been run on a very left-brained, top-down, male archetypal, hierarchical structure. These are linear, siloed, command and control, winner take all, with a massive focus on short-term earnings. And we're now seeing the rise of right-brained organisations, female archetypal organisations represented by collaborative communities. These are adaptable, caring, compassionate, empowering and nurturing. Instead of holding all the power and assets for themselves, they share abundance. And we're going to need to share abundance because the link between meaning and work is being severed for more and more people as people get left behind by the pace of change. And I want to ask you all, as leaders here, I want to ask you, what sort of world do you want to live in? Do you want to live in a shared society? What will matter? What will our roles be? And imagine if we could create a society of active, caring, sharing citizens where we celebrate entrepreneurship and unleash more of our creativity. Yet it was recently suggested that creativity has become the most endangered species of the 21st century. We have this broadband culture, but we don't have the original thought to fill all that space. And an IBM CEO study showed that in an increasingly complex and uncertain environment, the most important leadership attribute is creativity. So I work with a lot of teams and organisations, helping them to build a culture of creativity and innovation. And it amazes me how many leaders say to me, but I'm not creative. And yet we're all born creative. So how do we get more creative? Well, Steve Jobs said that it's simply about connecting things. So it stands to reason that when you want or need to get creative, you need this creative toolbox of rich and diverse life experiences so you can connect the dots. And I like to think that the best way to do that is through what I call positive human collisions, where you connect with people who are very different from you on a regular basis. You know, we hang out with people who are just like us, dress like us, think like us, similar educational and financial backgrounds. These people endorse us and make us feel comfortable, right? But our greatest gains as human beings are when we connect with people who are very different from us, who challenge us, who disagree with us. And boy, does it feel uncomfortable. That is when we experience creative abrasion. And that is when true creativity and innovation can spark. And that is very, very good for business, because businesses that really nurture diversity and inclusion outperform their competitors, and they attract and retain better talent. So I thought it would be really awesome to start a social enterprise that brought together the power of positive human collisions with the neuroscience of singing to build caring, sharing citizens and communities and solve problems together. So 10 years ago, I set up my second charity called Creativity Australia and the With One Voice program. Every week we bring together people like all of us, doctors, lawyers, CEOs, teachers, with migrants, job seekers, people with depression and disabilities, of all faiths and backgrounds, aged 9 to 90. We sing together and share supper. And you can see this social inclusion continuum. So you can see in the green, I think you'd agree that all of us are in the green. We're included, and most of us are change makers. Now, once people get into the red, they go down the slippery slope of isolation, become victims, often maybe commit suicide. So we need to get people before they go down there. And people who are at risk of exclusion, we need to reach out a hand and remove the box and wall between us to build a bridge. And so every week on this bridge of inclusion, we leapfrog people into feeling more included through the power of singing together in choirs, just like the one we created before, right? And so you can see the light come back into people's eyes as they not only find their voice, and not just their singing voice, but they find their meaning and purpose in life. Because let's face it, we're all in this together. These are our brothers and sisters. And any of us, through a life event, losing a loved one, losing a job, anything could happen that means that we go down the bridge and we need our community around us. We also share a wish list program where people can ask for whatever they need in life from one another. So people could ask for help with a resume, finding a job, a friend, learning English, finding accommodation, having their house minded or their dog walked. And people make wishes to one another. And we're all equals here. Haves and have-nots become one voice. And the wishes are read out and people start putting up their hands and granting one another's wishes. I call it the weekly miracle, because since 2013, over 3,000 wishes have been granted, leading to people getting jobs, lifelong friendships, and we've even had marriages, even though we're not a dating agency. Anyway, that is Nathalie. We helped her to get a job after 6 years of searching. You can see more of her story on my TED Talk. I don't have time to share it today. This is Annabelle. She was 26 when she joined the choir. She has cerebral palsy and she'd been looking for a job for 6 years. You can imagine the discrimination these people experience, but how much they have to offer. When she heard about the wish list, she said, "Can someone help me with my resume?" She got help with her resume. She then got a job in a call centre for a person with a disability. At exactly 8 weeks, they let her go. They got their subsidy, ticked their box, and they let her go without really finding out just how much she could offer. She came back to choir, devastated, made another wish to get a job. That night, there was a small business owner there, and she said, "Annabelle, give me a call." Annabelle called, thinking it's going to be a volunteering job, and the lady said, "No, I want to employ you 3 days a week as my assistant." She worked for that lady for 3 years. In that time, she became the head of the Wishlist program at our With One Voice Melbourne program, helping other people less fortunate than her with their wishes. She also earned enough money so that she could sponsor 2 disadvantaged people to be in the program. Building that bridge, reaching out that hand. And this is Beth. She changed my life. She also has cerebral palsy, but much worse than Annabelle. Every week she comes to choir and she says, "This is the highlight of my week. I can be having a grumpy day." I pinch myself and I go, "Oh my God, I could be Beth, she could be me." She's made a lot of wishes. Just 2, I'll tell you. She wished to stand in public for the first time and had a contraption made, and she stood in front of all of us and there wasn't a dry eye in the room. And she wished to get a job, which she achieved, and then her hours got extended and she was absolutely thrilled. But now I'm going to show you just a short video to inspire you to think about how you can create the world we want to live in. It is amazing what can happen when you come together on a weekly basis with people who are very diverse.
I joined this choir since I migrated from India.
I felt I found a new family in Australia.
This ANZ experience has took my singing to a different level.
The choir's just been the most wonderful thing for my career.
Advertised by a choir member, so I applied, and fortunately I got the job.
Like we said, the angel was behind me. They were my angel, and I went through and I got the job with ANZ Bank.
Meeting together weekly in these programs, each of these people experience new self-esteem, hope, friendship.
Actually, we met in the choir last week, and this is our second time meet each other. And yeah, I feel very surprised and very thankful that I can meet such a good friend. Well, I think this is the most important reason for me to keep coming.
This is why I got friends, because I can't do anything for myself. Can't feed myself, I can't feel. So I think that's why I got friends.
Keep smiling, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's the friends of
I can be who I want to be, apart from my disability. I can be, no one sees my wheelchair, they see me as a person.
The highlight of our year in 2011, apart from, of course, this afternoon, was to perform at the opening ceremony of the new Royal Children's Hospital, which was opened by Her Majesty the Queen.
This Melbourne Sings is a group, not only a group, just a family of singers.
You want to smell the beautiful perfume? You want to be happy? Come with me.
It's powerful. It's powerful work. And when I did the TED Talk a few years ago, we started getting inquiries from communities all over the world wanting to replicate the With One Voice program. And as Joanna said earlier, you know, we didn't want to hold all that for ourselves. We actually wanted to be able to share our model. So we started a social franchise model, which is very female archetype, right? Sharing, collaborative, and we now share the tools and empower communities around Australia and around the world to start With One Voice programs. And we started with one program in Melbourne, and we now have 20 in 5 states in Australia, and our goal is to have 40 by the end of 2020. So I invite you to join us on this crusade because, you know, we need to do these activities together so that we don't have this us and them anymore. We need to do this together and create a shared society and inspire people to ask, to give, and to receive. Muhammad Ali said, "Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth." And I wish for a world where I can is more important than IQ. My favourite quote is by Rabbi Hillel, who said, "If I'm not for myself, who will be for me? But if I'm only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when?" Now is the time, ladies and gentlemen, to decide what sort of world we want to create for our children. Together, we can change the world one voice at a time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.